Eagles-Giants week. And my friend Sal Paolantonio joins me here on a Sports Bash Sal Pal Friday. Welcome back, my friend. How are you?
Oh, Mike, I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. Very big game for the Philadelphia Eagles. Huge game.
I said the other day, the loser of this game is out of the division race. Do you concur?
Oh, yeah.
All
yes,
right.
No question about it.
All right, let's take a look.
Out of the division race
Yeah.
and maybe out of the playoff picture.
Yeah, their wild card possibilities shrink, but they're not catching Dallas if whoever loses this game. And in fact, I think ESPN's FPI has this as the most impactful game of the weekend.
Well, it should be. I'm going to be covering it. But you look at it. I have, I got the Eagles winning the game. And if they win, I think they win 10 games this year. And that gets them in the playoffs. Probably doesn't get them the division. But 10-6, I think, gets them in the playoffs. I got them winning this game. I think they beat Atlanta next week. I think they lose to Seattle. I think they beat the Packers on Monday Night Football. I think they lose to Baltimore. They lose to Cincinnati and lose to Baltimore and then beat the Giants and the Cowboys.
Well, it's a big game, obviously. And, Sal, with this big game, we've got a distraction this week, and I want to get your take on how the Eagles handled this thing with Huff and how it happened Wednesday. He was playing. Thursday, he's cut. What is your take on the way the Eagles handled this whole ordeal?
I think the biggest thing is whether he had the gun in his car in the parking lot at Novacare. He contends he did not, but I don't see how that's physically possible. I know the laws of physics pretty well. So he leaves the practice facility. He gets on the Walt Whitman Bridge to go home in New Jersey, and the cops pull him over, and they find the gun in his car.
Mm-hmm.
And where did he pick up the gun?
I'm on the same page with you there.
On the toll booth? Where did he get it?
Yeah.
FDR Park? Where did he stop by a friend's house? That to me is the number one thing. If he had it on the premises, that is a major no-no. And, if he lied about it, that's even worse.
And when you say premises, Sal, you're talking about even just leaving it in his car and having it in the parking lot, correct?
Against NFL policy.
Right.
Violation of NFL policy. You cannot bring a gun on any league facility premises.
So do the Eagles Wednesday, not think this is a big deal? Do they make a couple more calls, and then by Thursday they realize, all right, this guy's in some hot water. We need to do something here? Why Wednesday did they send Doug Peterson out there and make him sound like he doesn't know what's going on?
No, Doug didn't sound like he knows what's going on. Doug embraced Josh Huff. Doug wanted to give him a pass.
Right.
Doug wanted him to play in the game. Doug wanted to say, hey, let's chalk it up to a one-time mistake. Because Huff has never been had a problem before, not in college and not in the pros.
Right.
So, then there's that picture coming out of the Philadelphia Daily News on the practice field of Josh Huff and the owner talking and embracing. So all of the optics and everything they said on Wednesday suggested that they were going to stand by the guy.
That's right, correct.
And then they did a 180 and cut him. I got to believe that the information that they got was about where the gun was. I'm speculating,
Mm-hmm.
Mike.
Yeah,
I'm totally speculating, but I think it's a very good, educated guess.
I would concur. If you were to ask me what happened, that's what they had to surmise, right? There's only one thing, unless basically, unless they told the police or somebody told him, look, this guy's in some deep, and they just said, all right, and we're going to cut ties now. That's the only other way, right?
Yeah, and then they got a call from the police that said, hey, you might want to check out where the drugs came from. One thing that Josh Huff said, and again about the drugs, that's just another educated guess on my part, having covered a lot of criminal cases. But one thing that Josh Huff said that nobody challenged I wasn't at the press conference, that nobody challenged was, he said, my life has been in danger.
Right. He said that, and he kind of referenced, that was what was weird. He kind of referenced Houston, right? That in the past, I guess he's from the Houston area. I guess down there he felt that he needed, I mean, that's what I took from it was, my life has been endangered because of where I was from, but you're insinuating maybe that he also felt that here?
I want more information about that.
Yeah, a lot of things don't add up.
If you're an NFL player and you feel like your life's in danger, who's the first person you call? NFL security.
Right.
My life's in danger. If my life was in danger, ESPN has something called global security. I call my boss. I say, my life's in danger.
Mm-hmm.
He says, why? I say, X, Y, and Z. He says, let's get global security on the phone and let's solve this problem. My first thought is not to go out and buy a 9mm handgun with hollow point bullets.
He was asked.
My first thought is to get my superiors involved and get the ESPN security apparatus involved. That's not only the right protocol to follow, but it's also the smartest thing to do. Why wouldn't you put your hands into security, your life in the hands of security professionals?
Yeah, there's a lot to this story, and obviously Sal Pal with us, Sal Pal Friday, Josh Huff released. I know there's so many more layers to this story. Doug spoke today. He said they were all on board, all meaning Don, Jeffrey, Howie, and Doug. I'm assuming that they all just came up with a plan, decided to move forward here with that. And now, what about the locker room, Sal? I mean, do the players back this? Or is there going to be some sort of, whoa, wait a second, you didn't do anything to Bradham, you didn't do anything to Aguilar, but now is there going to be some sort of divide, do you think? Is this kind of a defining moment, much like Chip had his defining moment with Cooper? Is this one for Peterson?
Well, Bradham's situation, is still an open investigation. So that's I don't know what they're going to do there. But, hey, Mike, come on. We live in a real world, right? Bradham is indispensable. Huff is not.
That's what it comes down to, right?
In many ways, unfortunately, it just does.
So what's the plan for Philly? Huff is out now. He had been a big special teams contributor with the touchdowns and stuff. I mean, it sounds kind of insensitive sometimes, but they can move on without him, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, was he part of the important part of the roster? Sure. He was. He was a big contributor this year. He turned around a game that that was all but lost. So he's an important contributor. Wendell Smallwood, I don't have any confidence in him. I realize he had a kickoff touchdown return, but he fumbled that ball in the fourth quarter in Dallas. That to me was a major no-no.
And obviously, the running back situation last week, Sal, they went with Sproles 80% of the time. Can they continue? Can they continue to do that?
Yeah, I don't see how. 33 years old, man. You're gonna wear him out.
His body probably still hurts today.
Running him through the tackles. He's like a pinball wizard, right?
Hey, this Eagles-Giants game, obviously the Eagles have been pretty good up there, 5-1. Eli has struggled against the Giants. But, you said a couple of weeks ago you're putting the game in the hands of Jim Schwartz. He didn't do well that game. Same situation this week. Is this a Jim Schwartz game?
I believe that it is, Mike. The Giants' offensive line has struggled in pass protection as well as in the running game. It's, with the exception of the left tackle Pugh, their offensive line has struggled. And it's made them one-dimensional. When you can't run, the opposing defense does two things. They blitz, and they also drop everybody down near the line of scrimmage because, they want to be able to get after the quarterback. And then on passing downs, they take away the deep ball. So as a result, Eli Manning has to throw underneath balls. He has the lowest passer rating in the NFC East of any of the quarterbacks, includes Carson Wentz. And they're 26th in the league in scoring 19 points a game. So, my gosh, you should be able to beat this team, right?
Why is their offense struggling so much? I mean, last year they scored. They couldn't stop anybody.
It's offensive line. It's a lack of a running game. They're one-dimensional offensively. That's the biggest thing.
I want to go back to last week a little bit here because we talked about needing to take shots down the field. You said Carson Wentz would have to win the game. It didn't happen at all. So the only guy who threw a ball down the field isn't even on the team anymore. That's Huff. Are we coming to grips with the fact that
That's a good point. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Are we coming to grips with the fact that they're just not? They're not going to do it. They're not going to take shots.
No, if the wide receivers keep dropping the football.
Don't they have to show something? I mean, just do something once in a while. Hey, we're going to throw it deep, even if you overthrow the receiver by 20 yards.
Well, they're getting into these down and distance situations where they just want to complete a ball and move the chains. But I think the biggest two problems on this football team are unreliable running game, wide receivers dropping the football. It's demoralizing to everybody. You got people open, you got guys blocked, and your skill players are giving the ball away.
All right, Sal, we
Terrible.
got – yeah, no, and you just talked about unreliable wide receivers. They didn't make a deal this week. They're going to go with the guys they got. The one guy that was a little bit of a playmaker, he's not here anymore. So you said you like the Eagles, though. Give me your –
But, there's an interesting betting number here. Did you know about it?
I didn't. I'd like you to fill me in.
Since the beginning of 2015, teams that had a bye week after playing in London are 6-1 overall. 7-0 against the spread.
How about that? Third week in a row, too. Yeah. The Eagles have played a team coming off the bye, and they've got, 3 division road games already. This will be the third one here. So, schedule maker not kind to this team.
It's about time they beat a team in the division, and it's about time they won a game on the road.
No doubt.
So, they can check 2 boxes off, but they're defying a lot of recent betting history.
So, overall, then, Eagles defense too much for New York this week? Is that the difference?
It was too much for Dak Prescott. They let him off the hook in the fourth quarter.
They sure did.
They had him.
Yeah.
And they let him off the hook. The one thing that Eli Manning is missing is he doesn't have Elliott, and he doesn't have that offensive line that the Cowboys have. So I'm going to go with the Birds, 23-20.
23-20 Eagles this weekend right here on 97.3 ESPN. Our Sal Pal Fridays here. A lot of stuff on Huff in the beginning, and, of course, you break down this game. We look at an Eagles tough one, 23-20. Always tough in the division. Sal, you'll be covering it, ESPN. You got a front row seat. Enjoy it, pal.
It's going to be a rumble, my man. It's going to be a rumble, bro.
We'll talk to you next week.
All right, man.